So, you play Cardfight Vanguard, and you're looking for a deck that doesn't heavily rely on generics and has become quite good competitively, to which players love, but I'm not certain if they used to hate. I'm talking about Veissrugr, Keeper of the Moongate. Hello YouTube, this is Hikaru, and welcome to my first ever video where I talk about certain decks, deck profiles, and perhaps some gameplay videos in the future. But for now, we're going to talk about the deck as featured in this video. We're talking about Keeper of the Moongate, Veissrugr. Veissrugr is a Brandgate deck known for utilizing the Mythish units. It's released back in DZBT07, Moonfangs and Cerulean Blaze, to which he unfortunately was once a victim of the infamous case I would like to call the New Deck Syndrome. But as time went on, he has received decent support from having a fifth attacker to a resource manager. By the time of DZBT 10 onwards, this deck's profile would look something like this. Before I talk about the deck profile, let me share with you my thoughts on this deck's aesthetics, shall we? Knowing Veissrugr is from the Brandgate Nation, Brandgate is known for robots, aliens, and anything related to science fiction. Veissrugr has a bit of a rare case as they almost brought back to a nod to real life mythos, but in a nation that I wasn't definitely expecting they would put it in. Given how Keter Sanctuary has done with Arthurian mythos back in the days, especially in the original era, and with Dragon Empire tackling with units from East Asian mythology and mythos. Even today, I seen some that of some Hindu names here and there. But here in Veissrugr's case, in case you don't know, three of his special rear guards, the mythics, being Rosdanir, Garzrooms, and Helgvar. Rosdanir is based on the wolf Fenrir, Garzrooms being Jormungandr, and Helgvar being based on Hel, the Queen of Helheim. All three of these are, fun fact, the children of Loki from Norse mythology. Just wanted to share that small fact with you guys, but we're now moving on to this deck's profile. For the deck profile, we'll start off first with our ride line, starting off with our grade 0, Envoy of the Moon Rhapsode, who's your typical D-series starter, followed by our grade 1. When rolled over Repsol, you reveal a grade 3 Veissrugr from your ride deck, and you search your deck for up to 1 Moongate and shuffle your deck. And if you have the Moongate in your hand, you can draw 1 card. Then our grade 2, which lets you look at the top 7 cards of your deck and choose up to 2 mythish cards from among them and choose one to add to your hand and the other place to the order zone. And lastly, our main grade 3 keeps you pay Soul Blast 2 to play the Moongate twice per turn and lets you call 2 units from the order zone to the rear guard circle in the same column and give your front row plus 5,000 power. Then if you ever guard with a mythish card to the Guardian Circle, those mythish units placed at the Guardian Circle gain plus 5k shield, and you get to choose a mythish card from your drop zone and put them back to the bottom of the deck. Now we've got the ride deck covered. Let's now proceed with our main deck. Starting off with our grade 3s, we run 3 extra Persona copies of Veissrugr and 4 of our Lunarite orders. We run 2 of Aleph Gulmanis that lets you CB1 and give all of your mythish units plus 5,000 power and another 5,000 power if those mythish units were called by your card's abilities. Then we have Verdario that lets you retire 1 of your opponent's rear guards and lets you call all of your mythish units with their skills CB cost reduced by 1. And lastly, we have Alfini that can be called from the drop zone or played from the drop zone that lets you bind it and gives your mythish units plus 5,000 power until end of the turn. Do note that Alfini requires your your opponent's Vanguard to be grade 3 or greater for the turn. Now, with that out of the way, let's move on to our grade 2s. First, we run 4 copies of the first Mythish Rosdanier, who is your draw engine of the deck, wherein you have a Moongate in your order zone. You can either pay a Counterblast 1 or an Energy Blast 3 to draw a card, and it can battle one of your opponent's front row rear guards, aside from its other main target. Then we have the second Mythish Gar's Rooms, 4 of each, who is also Veissrugr's main beat stick, wherein if called during the battle phase, you counterblast 1 and it cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects, and it can attack from the back row. Its second ability is if as long as your opponent's grade 3 or greater, he gains plus 5,000 power, but if you played an order this turn, he gains plus 15 power. Next, we have our Ravdarugs, which you could run up to 16 copies of this unit, but we'll run 8. And its continuous ability is if you have a grade 3 or greater Veissrugr in its card name, this unit gains boost. And lastly, the only generic card in the deck, which is Fluctuate Buster Barrage, which synergizes well with Veissrugr's defensive skill, where you choose up to 2 grade 2 cards with different card names and call them to the Guardian Circle, and it gains plus 10k power to the chosen unit that is being attacked. Then for our grade 1s, we have the most recent support, the third Mythish Helgvar, who is basically the deck's mobile mine, wherein you end of the battle she boosts, you put her to the soul, and you countercharge 1. But her first ability lets you either look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and from among them you choose either a Persona copy or a Lunarite order from among them and add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. Or if you Persona roll this turn, search your deck for 1 Lunarite order and add it into your hand with the cost of an Energy Blast 3. Then of course we run 3 PGs and an Elementaria Sanctitude, as well as the most important set order of Veissrugr, our Moongate. The Moongate lets you Energy Blast 3 and rest the card to look at the top 7 cards of your deck and choose up to 1 Mythish from among them and call them to the rear guard. But if you have a Veissrugr Vanguard that is grade 3 or greater, you can reveal up to 3 Mythish cards from among them, where you call up to 1 to the rear guard and you put the 2 to your order zone. For our trigger lineup, we have 8 critical triggers, 4 effect crits and 4 vanilla crits, 4 vanilla heals, 3 effect draws, and our Elder Breath over trigger. The effect draws can be customized into either your soul fronts or the shield fronts, to whatever you prefer. I decided to go with the effect draws so that you could keep your hand consistent at all times of the turn. Moving aside for the deck profile, what you see here right now is a visual demonstration of Veissrugr's combo as soon as you reach your turn 4. So right now we stand, and then we draw, we energy charge 3, we persona ride, then we draw 1 card, we activate our Moongate by resting it and playing Energy Blast 3, we look at the top 7 cards of our deck. Okay, that's too much, so this is top 7. Then we call our Helgvar right here. There will be cases that your top 7 may not always reveal 3 Mythish cards, so you may either choose to call 1 and put 1 into your order zone, or choose to call none and put both of them into your order zone. So I'll just put the other Helgvar right into my order zone here, and I shuffle my deck. Then we switch Helgvar and Ravnarok's places. We use Helgvar's skill when she's placed onto the rearguard circle. We look at the top 5 cards of our deck, search for either Persona or Lunarite order. No target, so we just shuffle our deck. If you want to use the Moongate again, you pay for Soul Blast 2 with Veissrugr's skill. We look at the top 7 once more. Then we can call Rosdanir here, and we put our Ravnarok into our order zone, and we shuffle our deck. And yes, this deck has a lot of shuffling, so it may consume a lot of time throughout 30 minutes per round of the game. And then we can follow up by calling another Helgvar here under Veissrugr. We can perform the top 5 once more for a Persona copy or a Lunarite order. And we nailed our Persona copy. And we're gonna add it to our hand, and we're gonna shuffle our deck once more. So yes, this deck does a lot of deck thinning and shuffling. And you can call your units from here through the order zone via the Moon Gate. And the more you have many Mythish units in your order zone, the more chances of you landing a trigger from your drive checks. Then, since we have too many Helgvars here, we put or we play our Aleph Gulmani, we counterblast 1, and we give +5 to all of our Mythish units, and another +5 to those that were called by your card's abilities. So your Helgvar and your Rosdanir gain +10, and then the rest of here gain +5. Then you proceed with your battle phase, you swing, you put her to the soul, and you countercharge 1. Then you swing with Veissrugr, then you boost with Helgvar, you counterblast 1 again to call in the 2 Gar's rooms right here so that they can attack for bigger numbers, especially with Aleph Gulmani in sync. You play your counterblast 1 for the back row Gar's room so that he can attack from the back row, and he can not be chosen by your opponent's card effects. So you swing, you do your drive checks, no triggers and no triggers. Then you swing 1. Before you swing, you put her to the soul and you countercharge 1. Then you swing, then swing, then you swing again, and you can counterblast or energy blast 3. So we counterblast and you draw 1 card. So yes, that is basically Veissrugr's combo in a nutshell. And you might be asking yourself, dear viewer, should I build this deck? If you're looking for a deck that could deck thin and is versatile, that could let you draw a decent hand size like my current hand right now, yes, you may go for it. And if you're aiming for the aesthetics of the deck, if you're a fan of science fiction and mythology, sure, the pleasure is all yours. Once again, thank you so much, and I'm very happy to share this deck profile and a bit of a short gameplay with you guys. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me or support me on my Ko-fi. The link is in the description, and I'll see you again next time.